The salt spray still clings to the air, even now, centuries after the ship sailed away. It's a deceptive scent, mingled with the ghosts of men and women lost, swallowed by an island silence. This is the story of Roanoke Island, a place that promised prosperity, but delivered only bewilderment and dread. A vanished colony, a cryptic message, and a mystery that continues to haunt our understanding of early America. The year was 1587. England was gripped by religious fervor, fueled by the actions of figures like Walter Raleigh and Sir Francis Drake. The Protestant Reformation had shattered Europe, creating divides so deep they threatened to tear nations apart. King Philip II of Spain, a staunch Catholic, saw England as a major obstacle to his ambitions. Ambitions centered on expanding Catholicism across the Atlantic. Drake's privateering expeditions along the Spanish coast were crippling the Spanish treasure fleets. Raleigh, a courtier and adventurer, was determined to establish an English colony in North America, not just for strategic advantage against Spain, but as a bold statement of faith and a new beginning. He believed that a successful colony would secure England's position in the world, provide access to valuable resources, and most importantly, offer refuge to persecuted Protestants. Raleigh selected Roanoke Island, then known to the local Croatan Indians as the location for this venture. The island was relatively sheltered, offering a natural harbor and boasted fertile land. The choice wasn't random. Raleigh had been briefed by Sir Walter Aston, who had explored the coastline in 1584 and reported on the potential of the area. Aston's initial reports were cautiously optimistic. He described a region with abundant game, deer, turkey, wild boar, and a river suitable for navigation. The Croatan Indians, inhabiting the Outer Banks, possessed knowledge of the land and its resources, though their relationship with Europeans would prove complex and ultimately tragic. In August of 1587, approximately 115 men, women, and children, colonists primarily from London, Norfolk, and Cambridge, set sail under the command of John White. Among them were skilled carpenters, blacksmiths, farmers, and a handful of experienced soldiers. The expedition was funded by the Earl of Leicester, a close ally of Queen Elizabeth I, demonstrating the Crown's commitment to this ambitious project. The ships, the Elizabeth, the Amistad, and the Wing, carrying provisions, supplies, and colonists, arrived at Roanoke Island on August 15th. White immediately set about establishing a settlement, constructing a fort he called Fort Elizabeth, a formidable structure designed to defend against potential threats from both the Spanish and the Native Americans. He began work on dwellings, preparing fields for cultivation, and attempting to establish a semblance of order amongst the disparate group. The initial weeks were characterized by arduous labor, punctuated by moments of optimism. The colonists established contact with the Croatoan Indians, one of 3 tribes inhabiting the area, primarily through trade and negotiation. These interactions varied in tone. Some were cooperative, others wary. White sought to foster a peaceful relationship, recognizing that survival depended on establishing goodwill with the native inhabitants. He dispatched supplies, offered gifts, and engaged in discussions designed to understand their customs and concerns. Historians disagree about the precise nature of these early dealings, but evidence suggests a period of tentative alliance followed by increasing tensions as the colonists began to assert their presence and claim the land for England. White's primary mission, however, was reconnaissance. He launched expeditions upriver to chart the coastline, assess resources, and establish diplomatic relations with other tribes. On July 4th, 1587, White embarked on a crucial voyage, a 3-week expedition to Charter Sound, seeking a more secure location for settlement and hoping to gather intelligence about potential Spanish activity. He took with him supplies, including livestock, cattle, pigs, and sheep, and most important item of all, a small group of Croatoan men who had accompanied him on his previous explorations. White intended to return with reinforcements, tools, and fresh provisions, essential for sustaining the colony's survival. But he never returned. The delay was initially attributed to unfavorable weather conditions or perhaps a temporary setback in negotiations with the CROATOANs. The colonists began to worry, but waited patiently. Yet as weeks turned into months, anxiety mounted. With whites still absent, supplies dwindled, and the colony's situation deteriorated rapidly. The livestock quickly perished, ravaged by disease and hunger. Crops failed to thrive, further exacerbating the food shortage. Winter approached, a brutal season on the Atlantic coast, characterized by freezing temperatures, heavy rainfall, and relentless winds. White finally returned to Roanoke Island on September 21st, 1587, approximately 6 weeks overdue. What he found was utterly devastating. The fort had been dismantled, the dwellings burned, and the colonists were gone. Every trace of their existence, their homes, their belongings, their tools, had vanished without a trace. Only the palisade fence surrounding the fort remained standing, a chilling testament to the colony's sudden disappearance. The silence was profound. There were no signs of struggle, no bodies, no weapons, only an eerie emptiness where a thriving community once stood. White immediately began searching for clues, dispatching scouting parties to explore the island and its surrounding areas. He questioned the remaining colonists, a small group consisting primarily of men who had accompanied him on his reconnaissance expedition, but they offered little help, their minds addled by fear and hardship. They spoke vaguely of strange occurrences, of Native Americans seen in the distance, but provided no concrete information about what might have happened to the others. White's most significant discovery was a single word carved into a post of the fort, CROATOAN. This single glyph, the name of a nearby island inhabited by another branch of the CROATOAN tribe, was interpreted as a message, indicating that the colonists had moved to CROATOAN in search of refuge. It seemed like a logical explanation, a desperate attempt to escape starvation and potential attack. However, it was also incomplete, lacking any information about their fate or their intentions. White gathered a small relief party consisting of himself, 2 men named Frank Roughton and Augustin Martin, and Manteo, a CROATOAN man who had become a trusted friend and interpreter, and set sail for CROATOAN Island on August 18, 1587. They spent several days searching the island and its surrounding waters, but found no sign of the missing colonists or any evidence to support the CROATOAN message. They encountered other CROATOAN tribes, but were unable to glean any specific information about Roanoke's fate. The relief party eventually returned to England, reporting their fruitless search and reaffirming White's initial interpretation of the carved word, that the colonists had relocated to CROATOAN Island. Back in England, a wave of panic swept through the court. News of the vanished colony reached Queen Elizabeth I, who ordered an immediate investigation. A second expedition was launched in 1590, led by Sir Francis Drake, with the daunting task of determining what had become of Roanoke Island and its missing colonists. Drake's force included over 100 men, along with supplies and support ships. He followed White's route, meticulously searching for any trace of the lost colony. After a lengthy and arduous search, Drake discovered evidence of the colonists' presence. Specifically, a small wooden cross engraved with the letter CRO, an abbreviation of CROATOAN. This discovery lent credence to White's interpretation, but also raised new questions. Why were only the first 2 letters carved? Did this indicate that only a portion of the colonists had reached CROATOAN? And what happened to the remaining members of the settlement? Drake's investigation revealed an unsettling truth. The colonists, it seemed, hadn't simply relocated peacefully. He found signs of conflict, abandoned supplies, scorched earth, and evidence suggesting a violent confrontation with local Native Americans. Historians disagree on the nature and extent of this conflict. Some believe that the colonists had provoked hostilities through their aggressive behavior, their attempts to seize land, and their disregard for native customs. Others argue that the conflict was driven by factors beyond the colonists' control, perhaps exacerbated by disease, starvation, or a shift in tribal alliances. Drake's expedition returned to England with mixed results. While they confirmed the existence of CROATOAN Island and identified evidence of conflict, they were unable to determine the ultimate fate of the Roanoke colonists. The mystery deepened. The CRO marking suggested that only a small group had made it to CROATOAN, raising questions about their survival. The lack of bodies or any concrete explanation for their disappearance fueled speculation and fueled whispers. Rumors persisted that the colonists had been killed by Native Americans, captured by Spanish forces, or simply succumbed to disease and starvation. Over the years, countless theories have emerged attempting to explain the fate of Roanoke Island's vanished colony. The most persistent theory centers around a potential alliance with the Croatoan tribe. This interpretation suggests that the colonists, facing dwindling resources and mounting hostility from other Native American groups, sought refuge with the Croatoans, a relatively peaceful tribe who lived on Croatoan Island. However, this theory is complicated by the fact that the Croatoans themselves were fiercely protective of their land and wary of outsiders. Some historians believe that a misunderstanding or a conflict could have led to the colonists' demise, while others contend that they simply perished from disease or starvation after integrating into the Croatoan community. Another compelling theory posits that the Roanoke colonists joined forces with Sir Francis Drake himself. According to this interpretation, White, recognizing Drake's military prowess and strategic importance, intentionally sent his colony to support Spain against England. This theory is based on circumstantial evidence, such as the presence of English ships in Spanish waters at the time, but it remains highly speculative and lacks definitive proof. A more recent hypothesis suggests that the Roanoke colonists were victims of a devastating epidemic, likely smallpox, which decimated their numbers and forced them to abandon their settlement. Epidemics were common in the Americas during this period, often transmitted by Native Americans and causing widespread death and disruption among European settlements. While there is no direct evidence to support this theory, it offers a plausible explanation for the colony's sudden disappearance. Perhaps the most chilling theory involves a sinister encounter with Spanish forces. Some historians believe that the Roanoke colonists were captured by Spanish privateers, perhaps even acting under the direction of Sir Francis Drake, and taken back to Spain as prisoners or forced laborers. This theory is based on the fact that the Spanish were actively engaged in disrupting English colonial efforts, and that there was a significant risk of Spanish intervention in the region. Regardless of the precise circumstances, one thing remains clear. The disappearance of Roanoke Island represents one of the greatest mysteries in early American history, a chilling reminder of the challenges faced by those who dared to venture into the unknown. The Croatoan message, etched onto a post by White, serves as an enigmatic final testament to the colony's fate, a silent plea for help that was never answered. In 1998, a team of archaeologists from Virginia Tech conducted a comprehensive archaeological survey of Roanoke Island, utilizing advanced technology such as ground-penetrating radar and metal detectors. Their findings, published in 2001, provided the first concrete evidence of the colony's existence and offered tantalizing clues about their final days. The team unearthed numerous artifacts, including pottery shards, nails, tools, and personal items, confirming that a significant English settlement had indeed been established on the island. Crucially, the archaeological survey identified the remains of a small wooden building, likely a dwelling or a workshop, that appears to have been destroyed by fire. The location of this building, situated near the fort's former site, strongly suggests that a violent confrontation took place there, perhaps a battle between colonists and Native Americans, or possibly an accidental fire ignited during a struggle. Furthermore, the archaeologists discovered traces of burnt wood and charcoal, indicating a substantial fire burned through the area. This finding supports the theory that the colony was not simply abandoned, but rather subjected to a destructive attack or mishap. The archaeological findings provided valuable insights into the daily lives of the Roanoke colonists, their tools, their crafts, and their diet, but they failed to definitively resolve the mystery of their disappearance. The legacy of Roanoke Island extends far beyond its tragic fate. It serves as a powerful symbol of early colonial exploration, highlighting both the ambition and the vulnerability of those who sought to establish new settlements in the New World. The story of Roanoke has captivated imaginations for centuries, inspiring countless books, movies, and television shows. each interpretation adding another layer to this enduring enigma. The disappearance of the colony underscores the immense challenges faced by early colonists. The dangers of unfamiliar terrain, the hostility of Native Americans, the scarcity of resources, and the ever-present threat of disease and starvation. It is a cautionary tale about the hubris of empire, the fragility of human endeavor, and the profound impact of cultural misunderstanding. But perhaps more importantly, the mystery of Roanoke Island remains as a potent reminder that history is rarely simple or straightforward. The truth behind this vanished colony may never be fully revealed, lost to time, obscured by conflicting accounts, and buried beneath layers of speculation and myth. As you stand on Roanoke Island today, feel the wind. Listen for the silence. It's not just a place of history. It is a mirror reflecting our own anxieties about the unknown, about survival, and about the enduring questions of human existence. The disappearance of Roanoke Island serves as a chilling reminder. Sometimes, answers are deliberately withheld, and some mysteries are best left undisturbed, forever shrouded in the salt spray and the ghosts of those who vanished without a trace. The unanswered questions linger, not just about the colonists themselves, but about ourselves. What assumptions did White make? What misunderstandings occurred between the colonists and the CROATOANs? And what truly happened on that fateful island? A brutal clash of cultures, a desperate struggle for survival, or something far more inexplicable? The silence of Roanoke Island is not simply an absence. It's a profound statement. It forces us to confront the limits of our knowledge, the fallibility of human perception, and the uncomfortable possibility that some secrets are destined to remain hidden, forever lost in the annals of time. The story of Roanoke reminds us that history isn't just about dates and events. It is about people, their hopes, their fears, and ultimately, their disappearance. And that disappearance, that haunting void, will continue to resonate long after the last echoes of this forgotten colony have faded away. Ultimately, the mystery of Roanoke Island remains a powerful reminder of humanity's capacity for both great ambition and devastating failure. It's a testament to our persistent need to seek answers, even when those answers may never come. A quest that defines us as humans, driving us to explore, to question, and to grapple with the enduring mysteries of our past.